Alright, so let's talk about this. Patchy Mix is finally making his UFC debut, and he's stepping up on short notice against Mario Batista, replacing Chito Vera. Now, if you're just a casual fan, you're probably like, okay, cool, just another guy. I don't know who's stepping in, but whatever. But hold on, Patchy ain't just some other guy, kid. This is a legit, dangerous addition to the bantamweight division, and this matchup is way more exciting than people realize. Patchy Mix has been doing work outside of the UFC.
He's got great grappling. His back takes are good. This is my thing. I just want to interject before we watch this. This is why you should be excited about Patchy Mix making his UFC debut. He is 20-1. All right. He's like, I got more finishes than everybody in the top 10. And that's cool. That's cool. But he's definitely not faced the higher competition. And it's not his fault. He's here now, and we'll see what he looks like against UFC level guys, whatever that means. He looks great with his back takes and his grappling. He looks great. He knocked Rofion Stotts out here with a knee. He's an interesting guy. He could do good things, big things. Could have a better career than his girlfriend, Tatiana Suarez, but we will see.
The dude has been dominating in Bellator. We're talking about the former Bellator Bantamweight Grand Prix winner, a guy who's 19-1, riding a 6-fight win streak, and he's finishing top-tier competition in style. I mean, he's a grappling monster, like next level back control, body triangle lock in Python, and once he gets your back, you're probably going to be sleeping or tapping. He's submitting guys like Rafael Stotts and Magomed Magomedov, both of whom are absolute animals. And now he's coming to the UFC with a chip on his shoulder and something to prove. This isn't a guy who's just happy to be here. Patchy Mix is coming to take heads and shake up the division. He's 5'11" at bantamweight too, so he brings that freakish length and size that gives people nightmares in scrambles and grappling exchange. It's not just a physical tool either. The guy has composed fight IQ and killer instincts. He's actually legit, but this is important. He's not without some holes, obviously. Patchy's striking is still kind of raw. It's serviceable, sure, but you're not turning to see him win a kickboxing match, let's be honest. Most of his stand-up is there to get him into the clinch range or set up a takedown. And if he's forced into a pure striking battle against someone who can keep the range and punish entries, that's where things get a little bit dicey. His hands aren't slow, but he's definitely hittable, and his defense on the feet hasn't been tested the way it will be in the UFC. Yep. I'll tell you that right now. Also, we gotta talk about how he reacts when game plans don't go his way. There have been fights like the one with Juan Anchuleta where he got out-wrestled and he couldn't implement his ground game and he looked a little lost. Now, to his credit, he's improved a lot since then, especially his cardio and his patience. But it's fair to say if someone can stuff his takedowns or flip the script and make him defend on the ground, we'll see what kind of adjustments he can make.
So this could be a bad fight for him.
Patchy Mix is a serious threat and a fresh face in a stacked bantamweight division, but we're about to find out real quick how well his skills translate. If he can steamroll Mario Batista, people are going to start throwing his name into contender conversation fast. But if he struggles to impose his grappling or gets exposed on the feet, then it could become a real welcome to the UFC moment. Either way, this ain't just a filler fight. It's a big one, especially if you know what Patchy brings to the table. With all that being said,
lots of title implications here.
Mario Batista. So stylistically, this is a really intriguing clash. Batista is one of those guys who's quietly been putting it all together and a solid UFC run in general. He's well-rounded, he's fast, he's got good cardio, and more importantly, he's not afraid to mix things up. He's got sharp combinations, solid footwork, and he shows flashes of slick ground game too. But here's the key difference. Batista's a generalist, and Patchy Mix is a specialist. A dangerous one, that is. Patchy doesn't just grapple, he suffocates. If he gets to your back, it's basically a wrap. So the big question here is, can Mario keep this fight in his world? Can he stay upright, pump the jab, dig those calf kicks, and circle out of danger? Because if he can't stop those level changes, he's gonna find himself backpacked real quick. And it's not like Batista has never been taken down. I mean, Travis Jones was able to get him to the mat, and Patchy's a much better grappler than Jones. But at the same time, Patchy hasn't fought someone quite like Batista inside the UFC. Someone with the decent takedown defense, high pace, and just enough unpredictability to make life tricky. There's also the short notice factor. Patchy stepping in without a full camp, and while he's always in shape and staying active, that
short
still
notice,
matters.
3 weeks,
Batista
I believe.
has time to prep, even if his original.
Well, I mean, it is short notice in the way that like we know about it. I don't know when he knows. Fighters usually are a bit more aware way before we're told about these fights, but maybe he's expressed that wasn't the case here. He's coming from PFL, maybe that wasn't the case.
Training was for Cheeto. That might have gave him an edge in the early rounds, especially if he can make Patchy work and test that gas tank late. So yeah, this one comes down to control. If Patchy Mix can drag this into his world early, he could probably dominate. But if Mario Batista can survive those early grappling blitz, stuff a few takedowns, and keep it striking heavy, things could get very interesting down the stretch. It's a classic striker.
Man, that heart tattoo looks like a broken heart tattoo, but looks like hairy balls. Like, that's a weird tattoo.
Versus grappler setup with some new school wrinkles. And whoever dictates this pace first is going to run away with it. And here's the thing. Both guys have something to prove here. I think for Patchy Mix, this is about validation. Like, yeah, he's been in there with big fish in Bellator, but this is the UFC. This is the proving ground. If he comes in and dominates a guy like Batista, who's already strung together a few quality wins, it's immediately going to put him on the map. We're not talking about let's ease him in. We're talking about throwing him into killers and seeing what kind of noise he can make. This debut isn't just about a test, it's a statement opportunity. And I think for Mario Batista, it's almost the opposite. He's the one that's defending the UFC turf in my opinion. He's been grinding his way up to the rankings, quietly beating some solid competition, and now he's being asked to stop the
Bellator invasion
before he gets rolling. And let's be real, if he pulls this off, he steals all that momentum. This could be the fight that gets him through that breakout push.
I don't know.
Nobody remembers the guy who beats the short notice replacement.
Patchy has... I think Patchy probably has more hype on him, but I feel like only hardcores really care about this fight. This isn't the biggest, like, commercially, aesthetically pleasing fight for casuals. They have no idea who these guys are.
Unless the replacement was Patchy Mix. Another thing to consider is the pace. Batista thrives in high-tempo fights. He flows well, he throws in volumes, and scrambles with intent. He's not a guy who wants to sit still. But Patchy, if he gets control, can't just freeze you. He slows the whole rhythm of the fight, keeps you glued to the mat, eats up the clock, and forces you to play his game. So it's not just a matter of skill, it's about who can set the tempo. Can Batista stay moving, or does Patchy grind this into a grappling clinic? Also, you gotta keep in mind the mental battle. Patchy's coming in with the confidence, maybe even borderline swagger, but this isn't hostile territory. The UFC cage, the lights, the pressure, it's different. Some guys fold under that.
I don't know why it's hostile.
And honestly, if he shows up and performs like he's been, this could be the start of a serious run. So yeah, whether you're here to see if Patchy's the real deal or you think Mario Batista is about to shut down all that noise, this is one of those fights that might not look like much on paper to the casual fan, but it could end up being one of the most important bantamweight matchups of the year. Whichever way it goes, someone's stock is gonna skyrocket. And look, man, I get it. A lot of people want to see Mario Batista lose, especially after how that Aldo fight played out. He leaned heavily on the clinch, held Aldo against the cage for most of that fight, and squeaked out a win that a lot of fans thought was undeserved. And when you're fighting a legend like Aldo, that kind of game plan just doesn't sit.
So, long story short, too long, didn't listen. Shout out to MMA Friction. Sounds like this should be a pretty tough matchup for Patchy Mix. Sounds like, yeah, this should be a bad fight, a bad matchup for Patchy Mix, actually. And I would say, personally, from what we've seen from a lot of the guys coming over, and not like younger guys, but the older guys, the veterans that they've come over, they've been so-so. It's not like the top guys over in Bellator or whatever who are in their late 30s that probably should have tried to make this transition a long time. ago, but maybe they couldn't. I think a lot of these people, the UFC was just not interested just because of the whole Bellator beef or whatever. They would just try to ice out certain guys who were like Bellator guys. I don't think they had the chance to come over here, but a lot of them have come over here far too late in their careers, and then they see that there really is a different level. You know, there really is a different level over there. At least up to the level that you've been fighting at, and now you're 38. But Patchy Mix is young. We did see his girlfriend just get her ass beat, Tatiana Suarez. We did see her get her ass beat by Zhang Wei Li. And her plan was all grappling with a terrible striking game. And Patchy Mix is coming in this one with a so-so striking game that he hopes to use to get into the grappling. But Batista is going to be feisty. I think if we are going in here expecting Patchy to dominate Bautista, I think you are in for a surprise, ladies and gents. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Head on over to MMA Friction. Let them know Mama sent you. And once again, let me know what you guys think about this fight, this upcoming fight in the comments. Thank you guys for being here once again, and I will see you guys soon.
I'm more Francis Ngannou. I be the biggest problem out of any nigga I know. A little old school like some 45 vinyls. You niggas old duels, what that do to the wino? I do it the commercial way, pay without the splits.